Welcome to the AllTheMons pack currently in beta, a pack that combines both ATM10 and Cobblemon. I wanted to make a getting started guide for this pack, since it can be quite daunting if you've never played ATM10, or on the opposite side if you've never played Cobblemon. But I've also been playing this pack a ton recently, and wanted to start a Let's Play series. So I thought, why not combine them? So today I'm going to show you guys the basics of what your first few hours should look like to give you the best start right out of the gate with AllTheMons. So welcome to AllTheMons, and I'm just realising I've suddenly got cat ears. I'm not joking, I genuinely don't know why I have these cat ears. I did not add them, I promise. But I thought that today we would be doing an AllTheMons Let's Play series mixed in with a starter guide, because I think I've got a lot of tips and tricks that I can give you guys to get started on your world and make a lot of progress quicker. So without further ado, the start looks pretty similar to normal Minecraft. You literally just harvest a tree. We have AllTheMine in this pack, so if you hold the tilde key above tab, you are able to instantly mine your trees, and they do break as well, which is really handy. And be good, replant your saplings. And the first thing that I would recommend you do is open up your quest book. I would also recommend going into the new beginning quest line. Now you'll see that most of this is actually just vanilla progression, and I would 100% recommend doing this because you'll get access to certain rewards here. For example, a food source, 5 steak, just from starting this quest line. Most of these quests you'll also complete passively, so this is a really good point for rewards. One of the first recommended things that you do is to craft yourself a crafting table, obviously, but you can actually craft yourself a crafting table on a stick, like so, and place that in your crafting table on a stick slot over here. If you go into your controls, keybinds, and find the crafting table on a stick, you'll see it's called Open Crafting on a Stick. I have this set to Control E, you can have it set to anything. E is my inventory, and so Control E opens up the crafting table, which is super nifty. You can see there, I can press E, I can press Control E, super handy. And so let's get started with the basic vanilla progression. Let's grab ourselves a wooden pickaxe, and see if we can't just mine ourselves just a little bit of stone to get started. Perfect, there's a little bit over here. And brilliant, I've already fallen into a cave. Fantastic. And we can now get ourselves some of these stone tools, which will help us with progression. And I'll also grab myself an axe, so that we can get access to more wood as well. If you craft yourself that stone sword, you get access to this quest, which gives you 10 steak. And on top of that, if you kill a mob with it, you end up getting 3 ender pearls. Now, these are really handy, so definitely keep them on you because we'll be using them a lot later. Now, at this point, if you're interested, you can also get yourself the starter Pokemon. If you press the key M, you can pick your starter. And I did this in my streaming series, but we're going to have to go for the same guy. We're going to have to go for Mudkip again. Such a cool Pokemon. Now, if you press M again, you'll get access to your party window, and you can actually switch out some of the moves that you've got here. So I've got Foresight on my Mudkip. If I press this little icon down here, I can switch that out with Tackle, which will be a little bit more useful. You can also go into the settings over here, see the stats of your Pokemon, the IVs, etc. Wow, we got a pretty decent special attack and defense on this one. And then in the other section, you can see your friendship and things like that. If you want to rename your Cobblemon, you can literally just click in this window over here and type something. Oh, I really don't know what to name him. I mean, if you've got any suggestions in the comments, let me know down below. And one of the first things that you'll come across is going to be these Apricorn trees. They spawn all over your world. Oh, I'm going to grab these berry bushes. These Apricorn trees are incredibly useful. You need to right-click harvest them, and occasionally, really rarely, we got very lucky there, you get a sprout. Bruh, these cat ears, I've got to turn them off, man. And if you want to know how to farm them from early game to late game, I've made a tutorial. Should be on the top right of your screen now, so if you're interested in finding out about that, have a look over there. But in the meantime, I might as well harvest some more of these Apricorns. We got another sprout as well, fantastic. My recommendation is to try and get a sprout of every single coloured Apricorn, because they're used to craft every single one of the Pokeballs you see here. You need different colours for each different one, and if you have a look, you get the half red Apricorn, so all of it comes from here. All of these different colours use different variations of Apricorns, and so you're going to need as many as possible. Occasionally, you'll also come across some berry plants, and I would also recommend harvesting those as well. However, you will be struggling very quickly for inventory space at the start of the game, so just be aware. And also, we seem to have spawned in next to a random structure. There's quite a few in the AllTheMons pack, and this one can be quite useful. There's a load of these little chests over here, looter chests. And if you open these, you'll get randomly assigned loot. This is most definitely one of the most important ways you can get Pokeballs early game. And also for that mention, you can also get some really decent items like paralyzed heals, potions, etc. So go upstairs, check out all of the chests and barrels, because I'm sure we'll find something useful. Just as I said that, we found a netball and an ultra ball. That is really useful, fantastic. Don't worry if you can't store everything right now, you can always just leave some of the items in the chest and come back to it later. Ooh, and I found myself a max revive. Now that is one of the most important items. I feel like that's a bit of a scripted event, but you are definitely going to want one of those if you spot one, or even just the basic revives. I'll cover all of those later. That is absolutely fantastic that we found that this early. I also managed to get myself some of these bunny hoppers. If we go and hold shift to research and click in the abilities tab and click this one over here, there's a certain pattern that we have to create to actually get use of these boots. And so I'm going to try and create it like so. You'll see the background, it kind of resembles what you're going to be trying to make. So in this case, it's clearly some sort of bunny. And so I'm going to try and make that structure there. Perfect, we've done it, and that means we get jump boost. Allows a higher jump by continuously holding the jump key. Interesting. We will definitely be equipping those. You can do that through the curios menu and pressing shift and left clicking. Or you can actually put them manually in the different slots. These curio slots up here basically hold any random curio, so it's best to try and use the slot that it's appropriate for. In this case, the feet slot. I'm also going to do these rooted boots and see what we can get from that. Ooh, that's a nice one. We get to restore hunger by just standing on grass blocks. That's really good. And again, we'll equip those in the feet slot. We're now wearing 2 kinds of boots at once. Yeah, that's not going to get confusing at all. You might also find some armor that's got modifiers. That's from Apotheosis. So if you equip that and press Control and T, you'll be introduced to the Apotheosis world tiers. And you'll start off at this Haven tier, but the more armor you unlock with the better attributes, you'll eventually make your way all the way up to this highest pinnacle tier, which means you'll get even more attributes and harder mobs. Ooh, we found another rare item. We found leftovers and we got ourselves a potion. And I think this sword over here is even better than our current one, so I'll definitely be taking that. In fact, I'm going to throw that away. And I seriously don't know my luck because I managed to somehow pull another max revive as well from this chest. We also got ourselves a revival herb. That is quite useful as well. Now, if I go into the quest book and into the getting started, you can see down here that normally we'd have to find revival herbs in lush caves. So doing a little bit of exploring early game can help you out massively with trying to get those items. This chest is another gold mine. We got some rare candy, fantastic. Even better, we got some Pokeballs and Hyper Potions. Just another note, we also get access to /set home and /home in this pack. That's really useful if, say, for example, we've got too much items already, and so I'm going to craft myself a little bit of chest storage and place them all in here. Meaning that we can keep coming back to here, and then if I, for example, move all the way over here, do /home, I teleport back to my base, and then I can use /back to get back out into the open. And so the early game is just kind of picking out resources. We're not going to be doing any Pokemon catching yet. I mean, we do have access to those Pokeballs, so actually I'm going to bring them with me because we might find something interesting. I'll also grab a potion as well. But our goal right now is just exploring, trying to find some items and more Apricorn bushes. We've even got spruce over here, my favourite wood type, so I'm going to definitely pick some of that up. We do get access to these Orotech ore nodes. They'll sometimes spawn on the surface with different various ore types. It's good to get yourself a little source of deep slate. Check that out, we've got diamonds already, some gold down here. We don't even have a pickaxe to actually mine this, so that's hilarious. But definitely worthwhile. You can press B to set a waypoint if you want to mark something on your map, because we will definitely be coming back to that later. We also seem to have found a couple of balls in front of us as well. These are loot balls, and if you right click them, they'll drop some random items. In this case, we've got Burn Heal, and I see there's another one over there. They also drop the actual loot ball itself. You can't use this to catch Pokemon, but you can use it as a cool little aesthetic piece. Yeah, this one over here, Great Ball. What's in this one? A citrus berry. Ooh, okay, very nice. Personally, I just tend to get rid of the loot balls. I don't really use them, but if you want to use it for decoration, go for it. And some more berries over here. Oran berries, very cool. I kept exploring, moving forward, and finding myself some berries, and then I stumbled across a cave. Oh wow, there's a cave down there that is pretty daunting. I can see some copper veins, which will be really useful. And up there, I see old roots. They are definitely important, so I'm going to quickly go and bridge over there. Grab a couple of them. Again, we can AllTheMons. They're big roots. You'll see in our Cobblemon Getting Started quest, we need the Medicinal Leek, Revival Herb, and the Big Root for revives, and then max revives. Medicinal Brews, which allow us to make potions, and you can also use these roots to make remedies, which allow you to also heal your Pokemon as well. Even if you just find one of them, you actually get a reward of multiple, so definitely worth at least finding one. And of course, we'll be a little bit neater. We'll remove that little cobblestone pillar that I made there. I've got the complementary shaders with Euphoria patches, and so you can see all of these ores are glowing. You probably won't have this unless you're using the shaders, but I would totally recommend it if your computer can handle it because it makes ore mining so much easier. And we're going to definitely want a little bit of this copper to start with. Ooh, great, quite a lot of copper actually. And also some iron in this cave, that is also really good. And right now I can see that it's nighttime and loads of mobs are down here, so I'm just going to go back to home and drop off all of the stuff that we've just collected. I'll craft myself a couple of these furnaces as well, so we can get started on smelting up some of the copper and some of the iron that we found, as well as getting ourselves some charcoal just to get ourselves through the door. Let's just craft 1 charcoal for now. And with that 1 charcoal, we can also then recraft it to make 8 charcoal. And then what I'm going to do first is actually smelt up the copper. Oh my goodness, what's going on outside? Oh, what a brilliant start to the world. I guess we've got thunder already? That's crazy. Right, we need to find a bed as soon as possible. So like I was saying before I was interrupted, we need to get ourselves some cooked up copper, because that is a really useful material early game. And whilst that's all cooking up, let's have a look at our quest book to see if we can complete any quests that we found so far. So getting a single ingot of copper gives us access to 3 more. Doing the furnace quest, we get 8 coal. That's also quite good. Now another mini tip, you can actually get tiny coal from your regular coal. This also works with charcoal as well. And what this will do is actually smelt up a 1-to-1 ratio of items to charcoal. So you don't have to do what I was doing earlier where you have to use all of your charcoal in a sort of 1-to-8 pattern like I did before. I will make myself a copper pickaxe as well, because that will be quite useful. And our iron's just smelted up, so I'm going to grab that furnace over here. And if I go into the quest book and look at the iron furnaces quest, we can either craft a copper furnace or an iron furnace. And as a reward, we get a stone to iron furnace upgrade. So I'm actually going to make the copper furnace for now, because we only have 8 iron. So if I plonk that down, we've got that quest, so I can grab that upgrade. And if I just shift right click the existing furnace, oh, all the items have come out. But that also means that we get an increase in speed for the furnace. So that's definitely really good early game. Now I'm actually going to pull out all of my raw items. I should have done this with the copper already, but now that we've got quite a bit of copper, we can actually craft ourselves something called an ore hammer. You need 3 sticks and 2 blocks of copper, and that will craft you the copper ore hammer. If you combine this with your raw copper, you'll actually get dust from it, and you'll get it at a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning that 1 raw copper produces 2 dust, at the cost of a little bit of durability of this hammer, and I believe that's about a stack. Yeah, so there we go. We've now turned our 1 stack of raw copper into 2 stacks of copper dust. And we can smelt up the copper dust, and that will turn directly into copper ingots. So we're actually doubling our ores right now. I probably should have done that with the raw iron, but oh well, we'll get some more later. And with copper tools, I'm hoping, yeah, we can. We can now mine all the diamonds and the emeralds and the gold all around here. So that's really good. We've already got diamonds within the first 20 minutes of gameplay. That feels a little bit cheaty and definitely a little bit ridiculous. But it's in the game, so you can't be mad at me. We weren't able to mine the platinum ore because it requires a diamond pickaxe. So that was my next goal. Don't think I could leave these platinum ores hanging like that. It just feels wrong. I don't know, it feels wrong on so many levels. And so I'm going to continue exploring a little bit. We could actually go up into this tower. There's some really nice loot up at the top of this tower, so I'm just going to do that, climb up the tower. You'll also, whilst you're coming up here, you'll also find some of these item frames, and they contain gems. We're not really able to use them right now, but it might be handy to keep hold of these for later. Let's grab some of these whilst we're climbing up the tower. Yeah, here's the loot. Now, do be warned, underneath this chest, there is TNT, and underneath this bookshelf, there is also TNT. So I'm going to replank that up. I'm actually going to see what loot we get. Anything useful? Looting. Looting's really handy. That'll be good. Some name tags, interesting. And then some more gems. Very nice. Might as well take all of that. I'm also going to take all of these flower pots because we can use them later on for botany pots. 100% we're also going to take the bookshelves as well. We then did a little bit more exploring, collecting ourselves some berries, and then walked into a rather interesting structure. Oh, we've also found a little mini ruin over here. Quite nice, but I think we'll avoid it for now. We'll come back later. We'll definitely pick ourselves up some of this sand because we need it for glass. Every time I fill up my inventory, I'm just going to do a quick /home, throw it all in here to unpack our loot. I'm going to grab some spruce logs actually, and we're going to craft some more chests as well. You can use it with regular logs, and that'll get you 4 instead. It's the exact same output, but it does mean that it's a little bit quicker to craft. And so we'll also drop all of this stuff off as well. And again, we can just do /back to get back to where we were. Ooh, cherry berries, they're nice as well. Try and pick up as many of the berries of all kinds as possible, because we'll be using loads of them later. And I've just seen another ore cluster up there, wow. Like I said, the best thing you can do early game is exploring. So just go out, explore your world, try and find some of these clusters, try and find some of these loot balls you see over here. That'll give you a head start on absolutely everything in this pack. We're just going to use the AllTheMons to mine up all of this. Incredible, we got 7 diamonds from that haul already. And anything nice in this loot ball? Ah, a single potion. You're kidding, we found another Orotech ore vein, what? It was literally just over there we were mining, and now we found this one over here, fantastic. This one's also got redstone, which is going to be really handy because that allows us to make one of our first most important items. And now that we've got it, we might as well go back to home, and I can show you what I actually want to craft. What we're trying to make ourselves is the healer machine, so let me just type that in. This is the one that you find around the poker centers all around the map, but the ones in poker centers aren't actually breakable. So we want to craft our own, and that requires copper, iron, redstone, and the max revive that we found. Now personally, I'd recommend that you go and explore until you find yourself one of these max revives, or find yourself 2 of these regular revives. You can find these in chests in all of these structures that you see over here, and the Vivichoke you can get from Vivichoke seeds, which you can also find in those chests. Or another option is to craft the revives yourself. To make the max revive, you need 2 revives and a Vivichoke. I'll show you how to get the Vivichoke later, but to get the revives, you need healing powder, which you get from a revival herb. You can find the revival herbs as loot or in lush caves. You can harvest them by right-clicking, and that will give you the revival herb. Crafting that with itself will give you the healing powder, and combining that with a honey bottle, you can then make yourself a campfire and the campfire pot, and placing both of these ingredients inside, then closing the lid will create yourself a revive. I'm going to just plonk the healing machine over here. Now this machine does have a little cooldown whilst it's running, but it doesn't take that long to get back to that stage. So let's go and demo that first. Let's go and try and find a wild Pokemon that's hopefully around our level. Everything around us seems to be a little bit over leveled. What have we got over here? Oh, we got a Hoot Hoot. Right, if I press R, I then start a battle with it. And I can press R again to leave that menu. Ooh, okay, a creeper, and that is exactly why you leave the menu. Right, let's just get rid of him quickly. Perfect. Oh, dropped us some boots. Now, Hoot Hoot's a little bit over-leveled versus us. He's level 12, we're only level 10. But if I press R again, I can get back into that fight screen, and let's see our moves. We've got Rock Throw here, which is actually going to be super effective, so I'm hoping we might be able to get him in this turn. However, we're also getting attacked again, so I have to press R and get out of the fight one more time. Oh. Now, I'm not going to teach you basic Pokemon mechanics because I feel like that's just for a different video. And to be fair, Pokemon tutorials also apply there, so have a little look into those maybe. But I seem to be doing a pretty decent job at getting this Hoot Hoot. It is absolutely damaging us, so hopefully... Yeah, we got him. And all of the Cobblemon will actually drop loot over here. You can see all kind of bird Pokemon tend to drop bird-based loot. So we get raw chicken and we also get feathers, as well as a Terra Shard. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. And if you have your Pokemon still out afterwards, it's going to kill all the wild mobs around you. So you can see our Mudkip is incredibly low on health at the moment. In which case, we can either use potions to just right-click and then heal our Mudkip up like that, or we can do a slash home, go back to the healer machine, and then right-click, and that'll heal him back up to full health. There's a little Pokemon over here. Let me try and see if we can catch one. Now, obviously, we want to try and lower its health as much as possible. So I'm going to Rock Throw it, and hopefully we'll get Pineco low. Although he is level 15. Wow. Okay, he just got a critical hit. Oops. Ah, brilliant. Yeah, use self-destruct. Cheers. Didn't want my Mudkip anyway. But, technically, we won. And he also dropped us a TM of our choosing. Ooh. Not particularly sure which one's the best one. I'm going to pick up Solar Beam because that seems pretty useful. Oh wow, yeah, 120 damage and it's a grass type move. Also found a pink Apricorn tree, so our Apricorn tree, hopefully, if we get a sprout, which we did, that means we can also harvest those later on. That is terrifying. What is that? Jungle Creeper. Ooh, I've not seen one of these before. Slightly spooky. Right, okay, dispatched him, and wow, we're getting some really crazy loot here. We've got 2 gold pickaxes. Not entirely sure what we can really use them for, but okay, we'll take them. And a bamboo creeper. That is cursed. Look at this guy. Well, he drops bamboo though. I guess that's kind of useful. And if your Pokemon die, you're not able to use a potion on them. You have to use a revive. Or, again, if we found the healer machine. Perfect. We can just do that. If you haven't found either of those, they do naturally respawn. It just takes quite a long time. Or, if you've got a bed and you sleep through the night, they'll do it instantly. So that's also a little mini tip for you. Ooh, we found an Apom. Now that is a Pokemon that I want because it just looks cool. The problem is, let's say I don't have any Pokeballs. I mean, I have quite a few right now. But let's say I didn't have any Pokeballs. I can capture small Pokemon in a boat. Just a regular old Minecraft boat. And that will actually prevent them from despawning. Pokemon naturally despawn if you get too far away. And so if we put him in a boat, he will not despawn. That's actually a really useful tip. Now the problem is I am getting very fed up of the nighttime, so I want to try and craft myself a pair of shears and we'll go and find some kind of sheep Pokemon so that hopefully we'll be able to get some wool. If I press J and look at the map, my best guess would be to go in somewhere like a plains area. That's up north, so we'll head up north and we'll try our luck at getting ourselves some kind of sheep Pokemon. In fact, I think that's one there. Yeah, Wooloo. Wooloo, I think. If I press battle with it, I can see its name. Yeah, Wooloo. Now, if you don't have a Pokedex already, you can still get into a fight and press run to see the Pokemon's name. And that allows you to have discovered that Pokemon. The good thing about Wooloo is that you can actually use shears on a Wooloo. And, wow, we get, what, 4 wool from that? Wow, that was ridiculous. And it seems like there's some wolves over there, so I better be a bit careful with this Wooloo. Now, he is low enough level that I think I might actually just be able to catch him in a Pokeball straight up without actually having to lower his health. Let's see, have we got our second party member? We do, we've managed to capture that Wooloo, that's fantastic. So guys, meet ourselves Mr. Wooloo over here. Check him out, our new source of wool. Now I'm going to leave him out because he's probably going to eat the grass and actually regrow his fur, so that means we can get some more wool. But in the meantime, let's continue exploring and see if we can find ourselves any other loot. Ooh, there's also a ladybug over here, so if I got into a fight with him or her, sorry. I definitely want to capture her, but I don't think Wooloo's going to survive the fight. So I'm going to press run for now and forfeit the battle. I'm going to press R to bring back Wooloo. And I'll throw out Mudkip and press R on Ladybug. And that means we can now fight it with a Pokemon that probably can actually take it. Now, if I wanted to defeat Ladybug, I'd definitely use this Rock Throw extremely effective 4 times damage ability. But we don't really want to do that. I'm going to use probably the lowest damaging attack, which will be probably Tackle is my guess. And that got it down to about 68 damage. Let's try another one. 36, that's probably a good spot to stop. I press R, I can then pick up my netball that I've got, which has a 3x type on water or bug types. And then hopefully we can get him in one. Let's see if we got a third party member. Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Capturing Pokemon also levels up the Pokemon that fought it, so Mudkip has also got some XP from that, which is great. And, ooh, is that a Sudowoodo? What is this thing? I remember this one. Bonsley. Oh, this one's cute. I like this. Now, I don't know whether Bonsley is actually a rare Pokemon, so I will make sure to capture him in a boat and mark him on my map, just in case. So remember in something like Diamond and Pearl, you could only get one of these? I don't know if I'm misremembering or something, but I liked Bonsley. He was cool. And then again, I'm going to press B, mark him on my map, and we'll just put Bonsley. And so if I move away, we can also see that Bonsley's now got his little waypoint. If I press J, I can see all my waypoints. And if I want to remove that waypoint, I can click on it, right-click, remove or disable, or even edit it and maybe change something's name. And it seems that we've also found a random Hoppip in the middle of it as well. We'll have to catch both of them, I guess. Ooh, we found some mint seeds as well. Might as well pick those up. These are really rare. What kind of berry plant is this? Wakan berry. Never seen these ones before. Let's grab some of those. And, oh, Girafalig. I remember this one as well. Oh, is that its name? Yeah, Girafalig. Girafalig. I was a little bit wrong. It's been a while, guys. Come on. I'm going to make sure to fight him and press run so I can get him in the Pokedex. We don't have one right now, but it's definitely worth keeping that one in mind. And I believe that's Doduo? Yeah, it is. I'm going to press run again. Make sure we're running from all the fights. Some more mint seeds. Great. And a Ponyta. That is a high-level Ponyta. I'm definitely running away from that. Is that a Fanfi? Ooh, I like Fanfi. What level are you? Ooh, I definitely want that, but I think I've not really got the level for it. You know what that means? Oak time. Oh, it's Fampi. I'm going to get these names absolutely awfully mixed up. So, Fampi, we'll mark him on the map as well. What on earth is that? Is that a dung beetle? What? Relor. Okay, never heard of you. One more thing to note. Some Pokemon are going to be a bit too big for the boats. I don't know whether this Girafarig can fit in a boat. Probably not, if I had to guess. So I don't believe this will work with the Girafarig. Let's try. Yeah, he seems to just be walking over the boat, which probably means he's too big for it. Now, you used to be able to use a create seat in this case, but I think they've patched it. For some reason, this wasn't working on the latest 0.10 version. So just bear that in mind. I think they also patched a bunch of other methods like the Just Dire Things creature catcher. So unfortunately, as of right now, I think either boating, name tagging, or attaching a lead to a Pokemon to a fence is the only way to currently make sure they don't despawn. Ooh, now whilst it's nighttime, you might also find certain Pokemon here that are sleeping. If you're trying to level or capture them, it's easier to do the sleeping ones because they're already pre-slept. I mean, I could probably just hit this sleeping Rattata, which is probably a little bit of a violation of some sort of Geneva Convention kind of thing, but there we go, that's a little bit of XP for him. However, since we got that 3-wool from Wooloo, I'm going to craft up that white bed and just make sure that we can sleep. A, because we can sleep through the night, and also because we've got a respawn point. And then I could just do slash back to go back to where I was. Now, a couple of the Pokemon that I'm going to be on the lookout for at the moment are Zigzagoon, which there is one over there, and then I think, yeah, Bunnelby, right over here. Ooh, Lechonk's also a fun one, but I think I'm going to try over here. What are you? You are level 13. Right, perfect level for this. I'm hoping that a Rock Smash won't just instantly murder it in one go. Yeah, okay, survived. Let's do a Water Gun. Perfect, at 20% health. Right, we're going to press R, get out of that, and throw a Pokeball at it. Yes, great. That's Bunnelby added to the collection. Oh, hello, Spider. What level are you? Level 1. Oh, brilliant. We'll have that. Right, despite the fact that Bunnelby is just absolutely obliterated right now, let's try and capture in one ball with no health changes. And can we get it? Perfect. Zigzagoon added as well. My recommendation... Oh my goodness, there's a spider on my head. Right, let's take that off. Clearly it was a trophy or something that I got. Oh, if you shift click, you put a trophy on your head. That's brilliant. I'd personally recommend going for lower level Pokemon because they have lower hit points, which means they're easier to catch. And because we don't have a method to get automatic Pokeballs yet, we're going to need as many as possible. So therefore, just try and capture the lower level ones, around level 15 or below. I continued doing some more exploring, finding another wooloo that I sheared, and a couple of berry bushes, until I found something quite interesting. Ooh, this is really nice. We've come across a little signpost here that says 400 blocks away in that direction there's a village, so we will definitely be following that. You might also spot these weird beacons on the map. These are raids. We are too low level for them at the moment, so I'm just going to completely ignore them and walk away, but still worth noting. Ooh, I see the village in the distance that the sign was pointing at. That's great. And another tower just over here. We don't really have the storage right now, so I'm just going to skip all the gems and go straight for the good loot. Perfect. We'll take all the TNT as well. I'm not sure what the use would be, but oh well, still worth having. And like I said, collect all of these flower pots. You're going to need them later on. I'll show you why in just a second. Did we get anything handy? We got more looting. We got fire aspect. That's quite good. And unbreaking, we'll take that. As well as a much better sword. Wow, that's way faster than our current sword. It does a little bit less damage, but that +3 cold damage should mean that that's better. And we'll pop back to base, quickly drop all of that off, and then slash back. Right, this is getting ridiculous now. We've got another tower over here, and we've got some kind of spawner thing down there, as well as the village just over in that direction. But I've also found an R's tree. Now, I'm going to definitely get one. Is that a score bunny? What the heck? And a ditto. Oh my goodness. That is ultra rare. This is really rare. I'm going to definitely try and capture both of these in a boat and make a note of that. That is... I don't know what's going on. This is some sort of Let's Play luck. I'm getting some dream level of luck here. Make sure to count my blaze rods when I get them. And I don't know where this ditto went. I'm trying to find him. The luck we were getting in this first episode is actually ridiculous. I don't honestly know how it was like this. We get even more lucky later on. I'm not even going to spoil it. But after a while of trying to coerce the ditto into the boat, we finally got it in and made sure to mark it on the map. Anyway, like I was saying, there's an R's tree over here. Now, that is really handy. I'll talk about them in just a little while. And, oh, our axe broke. We'll break down this entire tree so we can get some saplings. We also got some bastion fruit. That's the fruit that you get from these trees. With those R's logs, you can actually create archwood planks and then create a dowsing rod using 1 gold and 2 of those planks. And if you right-click it, you'll get this magic find ability. And if I walk around my world, I'll be able to find magic items like amethyst. So keep your eyes on the ground because you might bump into a couple of them. And perfect. That is exactly what we're looking for. These little fire particles, that indicates that there's an amethyst geode right below us. So if I dig all the way down, we will eventually hit the amethyst geode over here. And we can pick up a load of amethyst here. You can actually convert this back down into amethyst shards. This is used in quite a lot of the early game recipes, one of them being the Pokenav, which I'm going to show off next episode. You need to get an amethyst shard to create this upgrade. And for a couple of the early game trainer card battles, the signature item, like here, the wide lens, those require amethyst. So it's good to get your hands on some amethyst quite early on. Ooh, what is this? What's this over here? That's a thunderstone. Oh, great. We can use that. In fact, it's always worth trying to get one of these because I believe as part of the quests, in the evolution section, you'll find over here these different stones you can get around your world. It'll tell you exactly where you spawn them. So in this case, it says they spawn in hill biomes and sometimes in jungle. So we managed to get one of these. And if you have a look, it will tell you some of the Pokemon that you can evolve. So we can get Pikachu and evolve it into a Raichu or Eevee into Jolteon. And again, for getting one of these stones, we get 3 back in total. We also went into the Gimme Ghoul Tower. I don't know its official name, but it always spawns in with a bunch of Gimme Ghoul chests, a load of relic pouches, and more importantly, a free waystone for the taking. Right, and let's go and invest... Ooh, we got a waystone. Right, that is really handy. So waystones are actually quite difficult to craft by themselves. You need amethyst, ender pearls, and emeralds. But if you can find one out in the wild, this is basically a free teleport and teleport back to different locations around the map. Ooh, that's definitely a cobblestone tree. That's a saccharin tree. Right, we'll grab one of these. See if it drops some saplings. It does, great. I'm not entirely sure what those are used for, but we'll always collect it. And yes, I appreciate that my chests are completely unorganized right now. We will 100% be fixing that at some point. Just not right now. I'm still exploring. If you find an Apricorn tree that you want, so if I look at the top, it says a black Apricorn, I can use bone meal on it to try my luck at growing one to get a sprout. We didn't get one that time. Oh, that's a shame. We really want the black Apricorn one because that's what's used to make Ultra Balls. But that's okay. We'll come back for it later when we've got some more bone meal. In the meantime, let's head off to that village that we saw on the map. Whoa, okay, check you out, mate. Right, we have arrived. The village. Well, instantly I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just nab a bunch of this wheat so we can have some bread. But one thing to note is that we do have easy villagers in this pack. I can actually shift right-click villagers to pick them up. we're definitely going to use that because we want to grab a couple of them. Earlier on, I mentioned about having a max revive needing Vivichoke and 2 regular revives. Without fail, I seem to always get Vivichoke seeds in these chests, so make sure you're checking villages and their chests. If you don't have a bed, this is now a great time to get one. And we've also got another waystone over here. Right, so let me show you how these work. If I right-click a waystone, I discover it, and it gives it a randomly generated name. For now, I'm going to edit this waystone's name by clicking up here and changing this to village and pressing save. And if I go back home, doing a /home, I can place down my waystone, let's just say over here, calling this one home. And I can actually see the village on my map here, so I can teleport back and forth between them, making travel significantly easier. Right, and these are medicinal leeks. Now, these grow on rivers in the water, and you can plant them on the water like so. These are really handy. We're going to need quite a bit of these. You can actually eat these or cook these up for food, but you'll be using these mostly for things like medicinal brews, which you use to make the potions, and quite a lot of things really, so it's quite good that we got our hands on those early. Sometimes in villages, you might also find a trainer associate. Definitely be on the lookout for these guys. The trainer association. Right. Okay, very cool. So he'll actually trade us a trainer card. Now, I believe we can actually make the trainer card ourselves. The recipe uses a name tag, and we found some of those in the towers that we found, the Apotheosis towers. The ones with all the gems, so you can either craft it manually, or if you come to a village, wherever he's just ran off to, we could actually use our pink Apricorns and get ourselves a trainer card. Now, if you lose your trainer card, you can either trade for one or make a new one, but if you go into the Getting Started quest, you can see down this pathway here, down into the Pokepedia, in the Pokemon Battles section, if you're able to win or fight a Pokemon, you'll get a trainer card for free. So that is a really useful tip. In this case, I ended up actually trading for one because I totally forgot about this quest, but oh well. And you'll see that when I craft it, 2 things will happen. Number 1, when you're holding it or it's in your inventory, you will have a load of trainers spawning nearby. In fact, I'm seeing one on the map in this direction, but they will start spawning all around you. They're quite good for getting some XP and obviously some loot and coins, so let's have a little go. Let's have a little fight with Campalium. We'll use Water Gun because it's extremely effective against Growlithe. And then he's brought out a Drillbur. Mate, wrong mistake. We've got Water Gun again. Right, and that should be Drillbur downed. Perfect. So Mudkip will get quite a lot of experience for this. And also, we will grab some poker tokens for defeating him. We can't actually fight him multiple times. We have to wait a little while before he wants to fight us again. Oh my goodness, Mudkip. No, stop. Yeah, so you kind of want to pull your Pokemon away because they're going to get in fights with random mobs, so just be careful. And also, if you look in the bottom right of your screen, you'll see the arrow as well. That's going to be pointing to the trainer associate. If one's nearby, it will point in the direction of him up until you actually have a series selected. If I go back to that mysterious villager from the trainer association, where has he gone? I think he's hiding. Oh, I reckon he fell down here. He did. Well done, mate. If we open up his trades again, you'll see he'll trade the trainer card that we have for a bunch of different ones. Currently, as of AllTheMons 0.10, we have access to 3 different pathways. We have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This is the one I would 100% recommend the most. They've got the Content Creators team, which is really sick. If I go into the quests and go down into Content Creators, you can see all of these guys here that you can fight as gym leaders. And lastly, if you really want a challenge, you can go for Radical Red. Now, I'm going to go for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, mostly because it's the lowest difficulty. Now, really important here, you will have a natural level cap of 15. Your Pokemon will not get to higher levels than 15 unless you start defeating gym leaders. The way that you get into fighting gym leaders is you can either scroll down here, or if you press this button here, you'll see there's this one that's also kind of squiggled out and a bit weird. If you click it, it will tell us who this is. It's Gym Leader Rourke. Type leader, and by fighting him, we'll increase our level cap from 15 to 16. So that's great. How do we find Gym Leader Rourke? Well, 2 ways of doing it. Number 1, we can find him naturally, and it will show us all the biomes that he can spawn in. So we've got Cherry Grove over here, Dripstone Caves, Grove, Meadow, Lush Caves, etc. Or we can use a signature item. The signature item is for the trainer spawner. This might be a little bit later because you need some diamonds and redstone. And then get your trainer spawner, place it down, pop your signature item inside, and then the level cap trainer that you're trying to fight will spawn in. And to get your signature item back, you just need to break the block. And there you go. That's a little tip from Future Jim. And his signature item is a smooth rock. Let's see how difficult that is to make. Little bit tough. We don't have any of the rock gems, and we don't have any of this hard stone either. So it looks like we're going to have to find him manually. Now, luckily, I saw Cherry Grove here, and we were literally right next to a Cherry Grove. So we'll go and find him there, hopefully. Oh, sick. All right, there's a lower level Growlithe over here. I definitely want one of these. These are so cool. Unfortunately, I think most of my moves are actually going to damage him, so I'm just going to try and do regular tackles. Oh gosh, he's getting his attack up. This is going to be dangerous. Perfect. He's at 36% health. Let's see if we can get him in a regular Pokeball. I don't want to use this Ultra Ball if I don't have to. Great, fantastic. We have caught ourselves a Growlithe. That's a fire-type Pokemon. And as we've got this trainer card, I'm noticing a load of these random trainers are spawning in, which might actually be really handy to get our levels up with that. So I want to train up, let's say, our Wooloo. Now, for wild Pokemon battles, you can throw out your Pokemon and then press R, but for trainer battles, it's a little bit different. What you need to do is go into your menu, press this little icon here to reshuffle your party, and move Wooloo to the front. So now, when I right-click him, Wooloo will come out and fight. We can do something called switch training, which is basically where you switch out for Mudkip or any of your other higher level Pokemon. And when you defeat the Pokemon that you're fighting, what should happen is we'll get some levels for Wooloo. And yeah, already at level 8 from that one fight. So switch training can be really helpful until you get yourself an XP share. An XP share is crafted like so. It uses the amethyst that we got earlier from the dowsing rod. And you need an iron helmet as well. So let's craft up this guy. You'll see here it allows the holder to receive a share of experience from battles without participating. So let's say I want my Ladybird to have some XP whilst Mudkip's battling. I would give the XP share to Ladybird. And the way I do that is by shift right-clicking on and changing its held item to the XP share. Some Pokemon actually wear the XP share and it is so cute. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's got a little hat on. But yeah, so give the XP share to the Pokemon that you want to receive extra XP without participating. Now what I'm looking for as I go into this Cherry Grove biome is for our trainer card to suddenly become enchanted. Because once you see that arrow, that means that the gym leader has spawned in and we can actually fight him. So let's see if I can walk around here and hopefully find him. It might take a couple of tries. He might be quite a rare spawn. Oh, no, I see him. It's now enchanted and I've got an arrow. It's pointing down. No, hold on. Where is it? This direction, I think? It's a little bit confusing, this arrow, but it does help us direct to him. Oh, I think he's here. Yes, he is here. Right. Before you approach a gym leader, I would recommend sorting out your party, because as soon as you walk in line of sight of him, he will kind of chase you down for a battle. So don't get too close unless you're prepared to fight. Now, obviously, you can just forfeit the battle if you do this by mistake. Now, obviously, this is a rock-type Pokemon, so Water Gun is extremely effective. Let's just one-shot him. Come on, mate. Mate, no chance. Absolutely no chance. And Onyx. Whoa, that is a huge one. But again, is he a match for the Water Gun? Let's see. Rock throw. Ooh, a bit of damage. Okay, I think we can do this. He endured it from his sturdy ability. Okay. Hopefully we can still survive this. Let's give it a go. Oh, brilliant, mate. Thank you for that. Oh, he's got a potion as well. But, mate, easy, easy. Mudkip is too strong. Mudkip's getting dangerously low. I think we can still do it, though. Oh, mate, one hit. Mudkip is ridiculous. And for defeating the gym leader, we now get 16 Poké Tokens and another TM. I'm going to go with Zen Headbutt. That sounds cool. And if I right-click my trainer card again, you'll see our level cap is now 16, meaning that we can now get our Pokemon to a higher level. Now, you can actually catch Pokemon higher than the level cap. You just can't use them in fights with trainers. So it can be really handy to get yourself a high-level Pokemon to do switch training with, and then put the over-leveled Pokemon into a PC so that when you fight trainers, it works, and you're still matching that level cap. You know what? Let's try and demonstrate that. I've got a level 19 Starly over here. Let's scrap him with our Growlithe. Hopefully we can catch him. Right, we're definitely struggling a little bit here. So I think we're at 29%. Let's try an Ultra Ball. And we get... lucky. Nice. Okay, we got the Starly. Now you'll see that my party is full, and so Starly's actually been stored in our PC. So what we need to do is go back to /home. And this is also a good demonstration as well. Half of our party are fainted right now, you can see on the left. If I sleep, and probably be around half health. So yeah, there you go. So if you haven't got yourself a healing machine, try that. That will also be a really valid way of healing up your Pokemon. Anyway, we need to craft ourselves a PC. If I type in PC here, we've got this one over here. If I press the letter A over it, I can now move it over onto this side into our bookmark section, so I can access that at any time. Really easy recipe. We just need iron, some smooth stone, and some glass. We've got ourselves a bunch of sand from earlier, so that shouldn't take too long to smelt up. Great, that is all smelted up, and we should now be able to craft ourselves that PC. I'm going to plonk that down, let's say right next to our waystone, and open this up, and we can see the Starly that was here earlier, which is great. And also I can now see all of the abilities that I have on my Pokemon, and unfortunately I didn't get the ability that I wanted, which is called Pickup, but I'll show that off in just a minute. Either way, right now I can demo the fact that we can actually swap out our Pokemon and have Starly in our party. And if I now walk up to one of the trainers, Battle Girl Kelsey as an example, and I right click her, it says my Pokemon are a bit too strong for my current level cap. That's because Starly is over our level 16 cap. But just as a demo, we can still fight wild Pokemon here. Oh my goodness, it almost like he wanted to fight me. So Starly is still useful despite the fact that he's over-leveled. Here you go, literally, just one hits this other Pokemon. So I'm definitely going to keep Starly on me for now, so we can keep using him for switch training. And I don't really fancy my luck at any gym leaders right now. Now, another thing that I want to craft since I managed to get my hands on that village is I want to grab the villagers over here. And we're going to craft ourselves a trader from Easy Villagers. 3 iron, 1 redstone, and some glass panes. And I'm going to plonk down my villager inside the trader. Let's plonk him over here. And then if I grab my PC that I had earlier, could craft myself a second PC, but I'm currently a little bit low on iron, but I'm going to use this one instead for now. I can actually right-click it into the trader, and he will now become a Pokemart trader. Now, if I want the PC back, I can actually just take out the villager and plonk the PC down here. Mate, you can't come in here. What are you on about? Right, never mind, he's gone. So until I get that PC, I'm just going to have to keep swapping them in and out. But if I place down that villager, I can see a bunch of different traits. Now, if I press the C key, I can cycle through these different trades that he's got, and there's a certain one that I really want. It's this one here. I've got a red Apricorn to 4 Poké Tokens trade, and I've also got a 12 Poké Tokens and 1 Apricorn to a Pokeball trade, which means I now can get access to these Pokeballs without having to automate them. You'll see the automation recipe is actually really, really convoluted and definitely a little bit later game. So that's actually a really neat way of getting ourselves access to Pokeballs really easily. With the added benefit that we can actually start farming these red Apricorns and then getting ourselves some more Pokeballs that way. And that's where my farming Apricorns video comes into play. This is really handy early game. So let me go and get some iron from the mines, and hopefully I can show you the first method that I covered in that video. So in true Let's Play fashion, I did a little bit of off-camera mining. Well, I guess it wasn't actually off-camera, because technically it's all on camera. So here's the mini montage of me doing that. But after this session, we got a load of materials to start crafting. Okay, so there's 2 things that we need to craft for this. One is the 2x2 oak drawer, or any kind of wood drawer. The recipe might seem confusing, but it is literally just chests and some wood planks, so we'll use that same recipe we got before, and then I believe that we can just craft those like so. The next thing we need to get is hopper botany pots. Now, again, I showed this off in the video, and so that requires us getting a flower pot hopper, which is quite easy to craft. We can just do it like that. There are different types of botany hopper pots. All of these over here. The easiest one that I can recommend is the cobbled deep slate, turning that into polished deep slate, and then turning that into deep slate bricks. And then you can get yourself the deep slate brick botany pot. That one's really nice because you don't actually have to smelt up any ores or terracotta or something like that. Whoops, I accidentally just crafted the regular ones. What I meant to craft was the hopper ones. Luckily, there's a recipe in here that allows you to just do 1 hopper and 1 regular botany pot. And once we've got that, we can just place that on top like so. We can then just craft ourselves a regular stone hoe. Put that stone hoe in the crafting table to get ourselves the silent gear version of that hoe. And let's grab ourselves 1 bit of dirt over here. Then if I grab my red Apricorn sprout, or any other sprout for that matter, I'm only going to use red because it's the one that we can use to get the Pokeballs. I can then place that in here with the hoe and the dirt like so, and that will start growing. And another little mini tip, if I get the hoe, right-click the farmland, that will actually give me a 10% extra growth speed. And you'll see that that Apricorn plant is slowly growing, and eventually once it's grown, it will drop all of its loot down into that drawer. Since I've been going out exploring, what I'm going to do is go and press F3 and G, just so I can see the chunk boundaries. And I've built this in a bit of an awkward one because it's right on the edge of a chunk. I'm actually going to move this inside this chunk boundary just over here, so that my entire house is actually covered by that. So let's place it down in here, place the exact same setup that we had before with the hoe, the red Apricorn sprout and the farmland. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the FTB claim manager and claim the current chunk that I'm in. In fact, I'm going to claim all of these chunks nearby. And I can actually force load these chunks. Now, the one that I'm standing in is the center one, and that's the one that I want to chunk load. You can claim chunks by holding left click, and then you can force load chunks by shift left clicking your already claimed land. And because I've actually chunk loaded it, this entire boundary of the chunk is now fully loaded. Even if I leave the area, even if I go off and explore, this hopper botany pot will still be running in the background. So that is definitely worthwhile getting early game. And again, F3 and G just to disable that. And you can see we just did the harvest. We only got 1 log there. But if I open up the hopper botany pot, press U on this, I can actually see what we're going to get. It doesn't show me the chances. It used to show me the chances. I don't know when that's changed. But there we go. We now have a source of apricorns. Now, I want to craft myself a second PC, not just for another trader, but also for something else. I want to make myself a pickup farm. But first, we need to find a Pokemon with the ability of pickup. And I know that I've mentioned this countless times. I show off all the types of Pokemon that you can use in your pickup farm in my Apricorn farming guide. So if you want to know more information about that, check over there. And I don't know if there's going to be any nearby. We're looking for something like a Zigzagoon or a Bunnelby. We've got one of each right now, but you'll see their ability. Just down here, it's Gluttony. We want this to be called Pickup. So we want to try and catch a Pokemon with Pickup. So I went searching for a while to try and find myself a Zigzagoon or a Bunnelby with Pickup. Luckily, I found myself 2 Bunnelbys that both had the ability. Right, let's see. Did we get ourselves one with Pickup? We did. Another one with Pickup. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do is craft a ton of fence posts because we're going to try and make ourselves a little pen for our Cobblemon. Only has to be small. I'm going to do it maybe a little 4x4 maybe. Hopefully that'll work. I'm also going to make this 3 tall because I don't entirely know how high Bunnelby can jump. It's a rabbit after all, so I wonder if it can jump quite high. Either way, let's do this sort of size. There we go. That is a full pen. And that PC that we made earlier, I'm actually going to turn into a pasture block, requiring planks, 2 wheat, and then a hopper. Let's grab 2 of our wheat, and then we've got the pasture block here. I'm also going to craft up 2 regular chests. I'm going to place the pasture block just outside over here, and then when I spawn in my Bunnelby, he should spawn inside that cage. This is completely ethical, I promise. I'm also going to do the same with the other one, and unfortunately, that is a male and female, so they are a breeding pair. And oh my goodness, you can see here, they've already started dropping their items. Now, if I put a chest next to the pasture block, instead of dropping it out into the world, they should put it in the chest. They don't need to directly access the chest, and so I've left the chest next to the pasture block. They can drop Pokeballs, they can drop TMs, berries, remedies, a ton of really useful items that we want, and also bread. A good food source early game is literally just having one of these pickup farms set up. And I guess I'm just going to leave this egg over here. It's going to hatch into another Bunnelby, so maybe we can have a little Bunnelby farm going as well. So I've let the Bunnelbys go at it for about 10 minutes, I'd say, and this is the returns that we got. We managed to get 3 of the different Apricorn sprouts, one of which we already had. We got a load of XP candy, which is really good for leveling up in the early game, and we got Citron Ball. That's a Pokeball just made with a yellow lid instead of a red lid, so that's quite good. We've now got another Pokeball. So this farm is actually really useful to set up early game because it gives us access to a lot of stuff. In fact, I'm going to use those EXP candies now to get our Ladybird and some of the other little lower level Mons up to speed with the other stuff. So maybe Wooloo gets a little... And later on, you can actually upgrade these if you get a campfire pot into the higher tiers and then higher tier after that. And then eventually higher tiers after that. But that's going to be a lot later game, so let's just for now try and level up all of our Mons to a decent level. We should also have some upgraded movesets, so Growlithe, I'm hoping, has something fire-related, yeah, like Flame Wheel or Ember. So definitely check your moves out as well, because I think some of the default ones end up being quite bad. So you can swap them out for maybe something a little bit better. And if you want to see some absolutely stupid luck, I was going to try and show off how to get leather for a backpack, and accidentally stumbled across a shiny Miltank. I have never seen this. I was going to show you something that was actually really funny. That's ridiculous. I honestly don't know what's going on with this luck. That's so stupid. Right, hold on. We're putting you in a boat immediately. That is ridiculous. Now, bear in mind, I have played well over 20 hours of this pack in my own personal time, and I have still never found a shiny Pokemon. I didn't even know we get notifications. So for me to find this within the first 3 hours of gameplay was absolutely... I'm lost for words. But that is ridiculous. I can't believe we just found that. What I was going to show you was that if you kill Pokemon that are cow-related, so for example, Miltank, Taurus, there's a couple of other ones, you can actually get yourself a source of leather from them. If you feel bad about killing Pokemon, that's fine. You can fight them in battle. All I'm saying is, it's just a little bit easier to have a go at them with a sword. Once you've got enough leather and string, we can actually also make ourselves a backpack. It will only require 4 leather and 4 string, as well as 1 chest, and you can right-click and you get a chest's worth of items. You can also shift right-click to place it down. You can also pop it into your back slot over here, and you can also set up a keybind to open up that backpack. I have mine set to Shift E. E being my regular inventory, Shift E being my backpack, and Control E being my crafting on a stick. You don't have to have that set up, that's just my personal favourite one. You can also upgrade your backpack with 8 iron to turn it into an iron backpack, then turn that into a gold backpack with 8 gold, and then lastly, a diamond backpack with 8 diamonds. You can get a netherite backpack, but mate, we haven't even been to the nether yet. What are you on about? And so that is my little starter guide / let's play. We've set up a super early game pickup farm that's getting us a bunch of these sprouts, as well as a load of really interesting items like ground gems, an ultra ball, that's ridiculous. Some really cool items there. We've now set up the basics of automating red apricorns, as well as being able to now trade them in to get poker tokens and also get pokeballs. So we've got a really nice early game source of some of the lower tier pokeballs. And I showed you how to get your level cap up, as well as defeating more Mons and being able to capture them. I'm going to be turning this into a Let's Play series on AllTheMons, so please like the video, subscribe, and comment if you want to see more AllTheMons content. But with that, take care, I'll see you next time.